Hey Vince, really nice progress here. I really like how the how everything's starting to work together. You have a few little edges of your masks that you should probably clean up. Let me see. I think that's the garbage can. Yeah, it's pretty common that you get the edges. Um, Another thing I thought too that could actually work instead of making this so just so transparent. You could also look for a background that had more negative space. I mean, I did a search for garbage and grass, or garbage and field. So I mean, if you had something that had a little bit more negative space, even that's too close up. But if you keep looking, even something like that, or even I think you know what I'm saying. That could even really be cool with that big bottle right there. So I would just really continue looking a little bit more. I just think that if you had a little bit more negative space, the caricature would really stand out a lot more. There's so many different there's so many different images online. You could just keep searching. And you can also do some stuff. You work yourself on it. This is kind of a cool image. It's too small. Another thing too for backgrounds, that's kind of cool. All that. If you do like, let's see, trash, and you say trash background, sometimes you can get a higher resolution image. Yeah, these are pretty big, but they're too complicated. You just don't want so much, even though this one kind of looks okay. Something like that would probably work. Oh, it's got a watermark. You can't use that. So anyway, you know what I'm saying. Just find something that has a little bit more negative space in it, so could really see your caricature. Another thing I was thinking of too is I looked at your file, and the other leg I think looks a little bit better just based on this angle. That it's too big, for your thing. But I just think that this angle. Whoops! Shoot. No. Here we are. This angle here, I think, would work better to create the look you're going for. The other angle. Another thing you could also do too is try like just a shoe, adding a shoe to it. Here's this one, and again, I masked it out really bad, but then you could go under Edit, Transform, and then you can flip it. I'm going to say flip horizontal, and then you get something like this. You could add it to your leg, and you can match the colors and stuff like that too, and rotate it. There's a lot of different things you can do, because I think the shoe is a really cool idea. Another thing you could do, and again, if you had less of the background, you could really see the caricature more. So yeah, just some suggestions. Another thing you can think of too is having a few little leg parts around in the background. I mean, not the same ones, but just like the first one you had. And if you do some searches about like doll legs. I think it would be cool to see some repetition of this, because I think it's really cool, because it has a human element too, which makes it really interesting. So I'm gonna for the future, let's see, I'm gonna put all of your caricature layers in a folder, and if you just click all of them and then click on this down here, it'll put them all in a folder, and then you can really move the whole thing around. I wouldn't put it, I'm not a fan of symmetrical placement, but I would probably put it something like this, and then I would put the text through here. And I would really suggest also that put each word on a different line, because then you can really move it around a lot. You can move it, and then you can choose different fonts. And we're doing that next week, but if you look at DaFont, there's so many cool fonts that you could add that kind of have to do, with that kind of grungy, that garbage. This is just one. Let me see how many pages. I mean, there's 35 pages of these kind of fonts. You just don't really want to make it so you can't you want to be able to still see the type, so be sure to think of that. And as I showed you earlier, okay, the advantage of having the type on different layers is then you could add different layer effects. That she's using 2 different fonts. So, and again, you don't have to make it all the same size. So it's pretty, you know what I mean. So if you put each word on a different line, you just have a lot more control. And I would also suggest a cast shadow eventually when you get, you know, in the future. And where's my tutorial? I'm going to post this tutorial too. There's also one in the you know, in the classroom. But the cast shadow, perspective cast shadow, looks like this, and it's just a few steps. So that would also help too. So yeah, I think it's looking really good. I would just continue, you know, working on it and trying to pull as much personality out as possible. I mean, maybe even where's that light bulb? Where's the other one? I mean, maybe even this could get a lot bigger. It doesn't have to be to scale, you know. I mean, if you have enough. You know what you could do is have it, you could cut this off like it's going underneath this. But again, I'm not saying that this is what you want to do or anything, but you don't have to, you know, they don't have to be to scale. You really have a lot of creativity with this. And this is something you might want to add one of those cast shadows to these light bulbs, because that's going to make it look just so much more interesting. So I'd probably go something like that. But again, you know, we have several weeks, so this is what the last part is all about, editing. Anyway, but you know, once you get the basic thing, then you can really start moving stuff around. You know, you could have some more broken light bulbs in the background. Repetition really works to create unity too, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Okay, so anyway, I think it looks great. You know, just keep working with it, because I think you've got some, you know, you've got really cool stuff. You know, and you can continue to size all this stuff, and you know, just figure out how to place it and so on. So yeah, okay. Hope this helps. Have a great holiday, and if you want feedback on anything, you can just you know, just grab me or whatever on Google Hangouts. I'm you know, I'm around, so I'm, you know, happy to help. Okay.